Well, welcome back, everybody. Dennis Darville with you yet again. Today, we have as our guest AJ McInerney. AJ, thank you for spending some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good to have you. AJ is a former tour player. He and his wife live in Las Vegas. And I'm going to ask him here in just a minute to tell us his story. But before we do, just know he's leading a Lynx Fellowship there in Las Vegas even now. But he's got a fascinating story. And as everyone knows, we're in this series, and this is the most recent episode in a series entitled Stories. So, AJ, I'm familiar with you just a little bit. But I know your story, and it's the reason that you're on here. So go back a little bit, maybe high school days, and just take us from there forward.
Yeah, happy to. So born and raised in Las Vegas, started getting real serious about golf, when I was about 10 years old, played baseball and all the different sports growing up and started to get pretty serious about golf. Ended up playing high school golf, won a couple state championships, 3 as a team, 2 individually. And so that gave me a lot of confidence. It gave the people around me a lot of confidence that, this is something that I could try to pursue. And, it came time to decide where to go to college. And Coach Knight at UNLV was recruiting me real hard and decided to stay home and played 4 years at UNLV underneath Coach Knight. I was the team captain for 2 of those years. And then, I started playing some really good golf right when I graduated, basically. And throughout that fall, I started at pre-qualifying at Q school. So this was in 2016 and made it all the way through and finished 5th place at final stage at Q school, had my full Corn Ferry Tour card and ended up playing a couple seasons out there. Played in 4 PGA Tour events, made 2 cuts, had 1 top 10. So that was as good as I did. Lots of different mini tours and state opens. Golf was kind of who I was and what I did, and I loved it. So fast forward a little bit, I ended up meeting my wife, and she was finishing school at Texas A&M, and here I am, just kind of the single mini tour, Corn Ferry Tour golfer guy, and I said, yeah, I'll come spend some time. So I was just traveling around playing a bunch of golf and really loving it. But when we got engaged, was right around the time that COVID was hitting, and I was scheduled to go play on the Canadian tour in 2020, but due to COVID, they canceled the Canadian tour season.
I remember, yeah.
And so here I am engaged. I don't have a job, and that's not really a good thing. And I was scared a little bit, but at the same time, I wasn't really enjoying the game the way I should have been. And so the assistant coaching job was open at UNLV at that time. And I applied for it, and Coach Knight ended up hiring me to come work for him. And so I started doing that in April of 2020. And initially, I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot. I spent a year and a half, well, not quite a year and a half, just over a year as the interim head coach. And I was working my butt off and, long nights and early mornings. And I was really trying to earn that job. And ended up working. So Coach Jean-Paul Hebert from the University of Texas ended up getting that job, and he retained me as his assistant for that following year, which was awesome. And JP's great. And, I'm really thankful to him because he kind of started to show me again, what was important here. And it's not all about the work. And he kind of brought this slower pace to UNLV golf, which was great for me. And so we were kind of moving along, and all of a sudden my wife and I are at a wedding in Dallas, and she's like, hey man, open your dang eye. Like, we're taking photos and stuff. And it just kind of looked like I had a lazy eye. And I said, babe, I'm not closing my eye on purpose. I'm trying to look as good as I can here. And so we get home, you need to go to the eye doctor. So that's what I did. And he sees me and says, I need you to go see a specialist. And so, okay, well, we're supposed to leave here for a tournament in a couple of days. And, maybe when I get back, he's like, no, like, you need to get in there tomorrow. So I ended up not traveling. They get in there, they do a biopsy on the tumor, which was growing on the back side of my eye. And it came back positive for lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so, that's kind of a scary thing to hear, otherwise extremely healthy and we really take care of ourselves and all these things. But go to MD Anderson. So I got accepted to go to MD Anderson in Houston, which was a blessing for sure, because they're the best. And so that first couple days that I spent there was really the first time in my life where I realized, well, maybe not realize is the right word, but where it hit me how short our time here is and can be. And before I knew kind of the prognosis of what I was going to be dealing with and what the treatment plan was going to look like, I'm just going through all these tests and walking past people that are, they're dying. And kind of told my wife, I said, I need to make some changes here, and so that's what I did. I got home. I realized I wasn't real happy coaching. I did it because I knew, I did love it because it was Las Vegas. That's my alma mater. That's where I'm from. I have so much passion about the program. But that's why I loved it. I didn't actually love college golf coaching. When I started looking ahead to the next 3-5 years, was I going to be a head coach? That was the goal. That's why you get into coaching. But I don't think I loved it enough to want to move up and move my whole family to go somewhere completely different to go coach college golf. And so that was a scary thing, right? Because here I am just diagnosed with lymphoma, and I resigned. I was done, and gave up that insurance, and with the public university, which is pretty good insurance, and so kind of took a leap of faith there. I had a great friend of mine, Harry Hall, plays on the PGA Tour now. He actually just secured his. He's playing next week, so he's in the top 50, moving on. He and I were teammates in college, and became like brothers, right? He's a little bit younger than me, but he said, "Hey, why don't you come out and caddy for me for a little bit?" He was in between caddies and couldn't really find somebody at that time that he was gelling with. So that's what I did. Our first event was Colonial, and we finished T3. Missed out on a playoff by one. He bogeyed the last hole. If he had a half decent caddy, he probably makes par in the last hole.
Yeah.
um, anyway, so I was able to save up a little bit of cash that summer and went back to Q school and went back and played. I went to Q school that fall, and my game wasn't quite ready at that point, but I wanted to go and just see where I was at. And I missed at first stage. Then I spent that whole next year just playing. Went back to Q school, and some things happened during that Q school, that first stage of Q school, that have never really happened in my career. And what I mean is, I've always putted good. I've always chipped it pretty good, and the weakness of my game has always been driver and, mid-iron type stuff. But I did all those things pretty well. I mean, definitely good enough to get through that qualifier. Just putted bad. And, it was a weird feeling because I felt like God was talking to me literally during that round. I finished that round and it was like, it's done, and I wasn't angry. I was sad, but I was sad because it was like, hey, God just basically stepped up and smacked you in the face and told you that you weren't going to get through this because of his will. Like, you did everything you could. And so that was it. And I was playing Q school in Dallas and canceled my flight, and just took my rental car and drove it home because I said, I just want to get on the road and kind of think about this. And so there we were, right? It was September, October of last year. And I knew golf was done, but that was scary because, I didn't know what was next outside of the golf industry, outside of the golf world. And that's when I kind of got linked up with Derek Wong. He's a member at my club here in Henderson. And for about 12 weeks in a row, he met me for coffee every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And he bought me my Bible and get me a little emotional, actually. But he was great for me, and just sat there with me and talked. And we just talked about my life and my journey and what's kind of led me to this point and what's next, and different verses of the Bible and different books that I should be reading throughout the week, and just to kind of get myself to a place where I could decide what was next. And so he's led me to this. Now I'm working in wealth management now, and actually studying for my securities exam. So I'm going to become a licensed financial advisor, and I'm working with a firm that I love, and, our values are the exact same. And that's really, really important to me. But I think the biggest piece over the last 7 months or so has been starting that Links Fellowship here at Anthem. And Derek had one, and it was a little bit older. I'm 31 years old, so it was hard. I was going and I was showing up, and it was just a little bit tough for me to relate. I'm going through different things in my life than these guys that are retired and they're playing golf every day. And, it's like I can learn a lot from those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Derek Wong's older than Dirk, man. No, we love that guy. Well, listen, so what a fascinating journey. Ups and downs. I mean, got your card and then only, to discover that you had cancer. Are you cancer free now?
Yes, sir. Praise the Lord,
Well,
cancer
yeah.
free right now.
And now the Lord's led you, so you're leading a Links Fellowship there at Anthem. You're on a new track, a new journey, wealth management. Happily married, and I understand your bride is right there by your side, walking with the Lord and praying for you every step of the way. I can't tell you how much this has meant for you just to squeeze out a little time. Of course, we at Links appreciate you so much. We want to wish you great success in this adventure that we call life, and especially your specific part of the adventure where you're charting a new course and a new career. And so, look, I want to thank you for your time. I want to really, really grateful for you to take the baton and really lead a Links group. And they are making differences around the country and country clubs and golf courses around the world. So God bless. Thank you for your time. And
Yes, sir.
I hope to see you down the road.
Dennis, God bless. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. See
All
you.
right. Take care.
And to our Links family and friends out there, thanks for joining us for AJ McInerney and his story and where he's going. Keep him in your prayers, and we'll see you next week.